So that was the number one thing that helped get my circadian rhythm back. And then getting outside in the sunlight, watching the sunrise every day, getting as much sunshine on your body as possible, being barefoot and grounded as much as possible outside, and then kind of a paleo diet. And then we started adding in allergy shots and
Hello, Heal Squad. It's going to be a great day. We're going to learn so much here together. I'm so excited. Let's start with our quote of the day. Healthy is an outfit that looks different on everybody. I really love that quote, friends. That actually goes back to my conversation with Chris Carr. Healthy isn't always the same for everybody. I love that. So excited for today's episode, friends. As you can see, I'm wearing my blue light glasses. If you can't see and you're listening to this, I'm wearing my blue light glasses. And I learned all about blue light glasses from Dr. Allison Monette, who has been on the show. She is my naturopath, and she's really taught me about the really toxic blue light situation that we're all dealing with now with iPhones and TVs. And even here in studio, we had to redo this whole studio to use less, light to make it a little better on me. Now, lately I've been lame and I've been forgetting my blue light glasses in here, but it was really hard to forget when you're interviewing someone who created them and started this entire business called Lucia Eyes. So today we're going to be joined by Daniel Huber. He is the CEO of Lucia Eyes, a pioneering company committed to safeguarding us against harmful blue light emission from screens. And that's just kind of the start of his story, friends. We're going to talk to him as well about his fight against mold. He had a personal health journey with mold. We'll talk about that as well at some point, maybe in another episode. I don't know if we're going to get to it this time. But he is a wealth of information, and he is really excited to be here with us today to share everything that he's learned about blue light toxicity. I thought it was a scam. You guys have heard me talk about it before. I thought blue light glasses were just a new thing to attract consumers and suck us into buying something else. But it's actually real. It raises your blood sugar when you have too much blue light toxicity. There are so many things that we just don't know. And when you know better, you get better. When you know better, you do better. That's what we're here for every day on the Heal Squad. Before we get to my chat with Dan, first, as you guys know, to keep these lights on, to keep these blue lights on, we have so many amazing supporters. First and foremost, Macy's has been amazing. Oh, by the way, didn't even plan this today, but I am wearing my amazing outfit. I didn't plan this, but I'm actually wearing my On 34th little romper from Macy's that I'm just loving. It's so cute. It's so soft and comfy. So you can get this on my link, Macys.com/Heal Squad, along with other fashion items, home items, etc. If you buy anything there, of course, it helps support the show, and we're so grateful. If you click out of my choices and buy anything anyway through that link, it helps us as well. So thank you for that. And thank you for your ongoing support, friends, to help us be able to bring you this amazing content every day. Well, hopefully you think it's amazing. I think it's amazing. It's helping me and saving my life every day, but that's just me. Also, my newest discovery is Just Thrive. So Just Thrive, I have been obsessed with even more after we had Tina, the founder, on the show. If you haven't listened to the episode, it's really, really amazing because she really teaches you about probiotics. We kind of all know about probiotics, especially like if you have some digestion issues. But even Kelsey, God bless her, who I said, you've got to try this. It's unbelievable. It's like saving my life. I texted her the other day and checked in on her, and she was doing it wrong. She was taking it at night. I go, no, Kelsey, you're supposed to take it after every meal. So even someone who is so educated on this still wasn't as educated as needed to be, right? And neither was I. I was doing it wrong until I sat with Tina and got to learn everything about it. So I highly recommend listening to that episode. It was just a few weeks ago. We'll put a link, in fact, to the episode in the summary of this episode. So Natasha will make sure that's in there for you guys. But justthrivehealth.com, if you use the promo code Heal Squad, you get, I think, 20% off. It's a lot. And I'll tell you, I started using the Just Calm, which calms that beautiful little vagus nerve that goes from the brain to the gut every morning. And it has made a difference, a really big difference. I also got someone else on it who was really having a lot of kind of mental health issues, and they have seen really great results. So I said, let's just try it and see what happens. And the probiotic I'm obsessed with. So I didn't know I could do it after every meal. I thought it was just once a day. So the only time I could remember to do it was the morning. And so I would do it after my breakfast, but my breakfast was really simple. It was just some eggs and cucumbers. My bigger meals were later, and I definitely needed it. So my stomach's finally like flattened out. Everything feels good. All the weird things that were swelling. I don't know if you guys have digestive issues like I did, but all these things were swelling. P.S. I think that my intestine was swelling so bad that that's why I got a hernia. Because I'm like, I have a really strong abdominal wall. Why is this happening? But anyway, that's a side note. So I'm very, very grateful for that interview with Tina, because it taught me so much about probiotics and the fact that Just Thrive makes it all the way down to your intestines. A lot of probiotics don't do that, especially the ones that say keep refrigerated. You don't have to refrigerate these, which is great. So I keep them in my little, purse bag in my purse. I have one that says probiotic and the other one says enzymes, and it's been game changers. So justthrivehealth.com, use the promo code Heal Squad. I am pretty sure I can say I promise it will help you. I know everybody's bodies are different, so that's why I qualify it with the I'm pretty sure, but it's been amazing for me and so many others. So check that out. Now, on to my conversation with Dan about blue light glasses. I'm so excited for you guys to learn all about it. So Dan, I introduced you, but I forgot to introduce your daughter Bailey.
Yes.
And I'm going to intro Bailey because she is the director of your foundation.
Correct.
And at some point she is going to chime in about the foundation Hope Chain, as well as being the daughter of
a crazy entrepreneur.
I was going to let you say it. Thank you.
Yeah. Entrepreneur means we try to make shit work.
We also have Kevin here, my husband, because so here's how we all kind of got together. Dr. Allison suggested we got blue light glasses. She taught us all about blue light toxicity. She told us, go online, buy these glasses from Lucia Eyes. She suggested them, so we did. And then at some point you saw me ordering them, and then we connected, and you have this other big mission, which we'll talk about through the charity. So then we got on the phone, and now here you are in studio.
Yeah. Super excited.
But what's crazy is like, this conversation can go in so many different directions, but I'm going to focus it on blue light right now.
Okay.
And then we see if we have time to get to the mold and all the other stuff you have.
The mold's an important part. That's what the catalyst was. So,
was it?
Mm-hmm.
So then let's talk about the catalyst for the blue light toxicity business.
So, how far back do you want me to go? Just to when I got sick?
Whatever's important, yeah.
Okay. So 2008, I was a mortgage banker during the mortgage banking crisis, and it took about 3 years. Yeah, it took about 3 years until we went broke. I mean, broke, like lost everything. And so, married with 7 kids, one of them a new baby, very, very stressful. We ended up losing the house and moving into a rent house. And when we moved into the rent house, I was probably 160 pounds, doing kickboxing and jujitsu 2 days a week, playing soccer with 20-year-olds. And within a year, I'd gained 45 pounds, couldn't walk upstairs without being out of breath, had headaches, brain fog, fatigue, blurred vision, constipation, diarrhea, rashes, all these crazy things.
That sounds like me for a long time. So this happened, to be clear, when you moved into a house that you were now renting. Correct. You left your abode, and now you're in this rent house, and all this shit's happening to you.
Yeah,
Is it just you or is it everyone in your family?
so
Because I feel like sometimes things are happening to me and everyone's looking at me like I'm nuts
right.
or uber sensitive.
Yeah. So found out later there were a bunch of multiple weird little things. Like our daughter Tabitha was under 2 and she started having cavities. How does an under 2-year-old get cavities? She had to have several teeth taken out and little spacers put in.
Oh.
2 of our kids had really bad asthma. Everybody was getting sinus infections or upper respiratory infections. My wife, we've had 7 kids. We had a miscarriage while we were there, which was really not common. One of our daughters had really weird single muscle fiber cramps that were like debilitating.
Wait, single muscle fiber
Like
cramps?
the tiniest muscle fiber, I'd dig around in her calf to find it. It was like smaller than a straw or a pencil.
Yeah, we're dealing with lots of cramps.
Yeah. So when we moved into the house, it kind of had that grandma house smell, but not really bad. It wasn't something you noticed. And in Texas, it was really dry, 2012 until 2015. So being a typical guy, and Kevin can kind of speak to this, I just kind of powered through everything, but I was really feeling really bad. And so push through with caffeine, get to bed with alcohol. And after about 2 years, I was like, this is not getting better. So I started seeing doctors, and I got the typical allopathic Western medicine response like, you look fine, you might be crazy, here's some antidepressants, oh, your cholesterol's high, here's some Lipitor, come back and see me in 6 months. I was like, what is wrong? All my numbers look correct. And thankfully, one of our priests said, hey, call this doctor friend of mine. And I sent her all my stuff, and she looked at it. She called me back. She goes, oh, you look fine. And I said, what? Great, here we go again. She said, you look fine if you're a 90-year-old man with type 2 diabetes. And I was like, oh, thank God. Because my testosterone was down at 70. All these things were really just out of whack. She said, I don't know what's going on, but something's wrong. So we started going to some naturopaths and spent a bunch of money on supplements, and that didn't work. And then in 2015, in the spring, we went on vacation to the beach.
Wait, this is 7 years later?
Yeah,
Wow.
2015.
Yeah, you said 2008 you moved, right?
No, 2008.
The crisis happened.
It took till 2011 to get completely broke,
Oh, okay,
and
got it.
move. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 4 years. We went on vacation to the beach for 10 days, and everybody's eyes cleared up, sinuses cleared up. But during that time, we had a lot of rain in Texas, and we came home to figure out our crawl space was flooding, and it was filled with mold. And so that brought on this whole research, I guess, day and night research into mold. And then I started following this guy, Dr. Jack Cruz, who I really think you
Yes.
should.
I know I'm already obsessed with him.
Yeah.
He's a challenging personality
Yes.
to listen to, but I love him. I love his brain.
He is the smartest man I know.
Yes,
Yeah.
period.
He's an asshole, but he's super
Wait,
smart.
do you know him personally?
Oh, yeah, we're good friends.
Oh my God, perfect, because
Yeah.
I'm dying to have him on the show.
He is one of the greatest humans. He comes off like really, really crass and
Yes.
aggressive, and you're stupid.
But we are all stupid compared to him. I'm kidding.
Well, he does that.
That's a terrible thing to say. We're not stupid, guys. You
No.
know what I mean.
Well, he does that because he wants to challenge people,
Yes.
because people want to have it given to him.
Yeah.
So he makes you go do and dig and do the research. And so his stuff is light, water, and magnetism. So light, meaning you need good sunlight. Water, you need good water, and you need to have your body in a position to where your cells make water. And magnetism, meaning you need to be grounded to the earth. And so when we started blocking blue light, my daughter Bailey can kind of attest that kids called me the blue light Nazi, because I switched out all of the fluorescent and LED bulbs with incandescent red lights. Kind of look like a...
Wait, the whole house is like a red light district?
Yeah, it was like a French
painted
whorehouse.
them red and everything, and it was super creepy at night. Cause
Wait, you could just paint them red if you have to?
We use nail polish.
Yeah.
Stop.
Before he could find any actual light bulbs, he painted them. Yeah.
Wait, that's a great solution. So we have so many odd shaped light bulbs
Yeah.
that I just don't turn lights on. And my dad and I fight all day. Maria, I need the light. He's cooking in the kitchen. I'm like, no, we don't need that much light. See, there's still daylight out.
Yeah.
And we just turn them on, turn them on, turn them on.
So we we kind of came to a spot where there's a balance, because after we figured out it was mold, started seeing a couple different doctors. There's a place called the Environmental Health Center in Dallas where one of the pioneers, Dr. Ray, pioneered this low dose immunotherapy, basically allergy shots. So we started seeing this guy, Dr. Hamill. So back to blue light. So one of the first things that helped was blocking blue light. And
Helped with the mold poisoning?
so we moved out of the mold house, got into a house that was clean and already furnished, and we left all of our stuff at the old house while we tried to figure out what to do with it. And following Dr. Cruz, I started blocking blue light, and the kids would not wear the blue light blocking glasses off of Amazon. You know, the ones that go over your glasses and you look kind of like grandma or grandpa. So my other daughter, Liz, and I decided to start this business because I couldn't get them to wear, and the stuff that was out there was not stylish. So Lizzie helped design the website and picked out all the frames. We found the best lens supplier out of Alpharetta, Georgia. So the lenses you have the polycarbonate with the blue blocking material mixed in. So most of them have a film, and if it gets scratched, it doesn't work. So we started selling the glasses, and I did it basically to get the kids to wear them, and then we made it into a business. So that was the number one thing that helped get my circadian rhythm back. And then getting outside in the sunlights, watching the sunrise every day, getting as much sunshine on your body as possible, being barefoot and grounded as much as possible outside, and then kind of a paleo diet. And then we started adding in allergy shots and IV therapy and all kinds of other stuff.
So are you mold free now?
We are. And it's funny that we're staying in an Airbnb here in town and it has mold. So I have this kind of good detector.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other stuff you can do. The other thing we did was binders like activated charcoal, bentonite clay, or this cholesterol medicine called cholestyramine. So, yeah, I'm a good detector for mold now.
So are you going to stay at that Airbnb? I'm curious. What do you do?
Well, we figured out it was in the air conditioner, so we turned the air conditioner off, and the maintenance guys are coming over, but we'll see.
Can I ask you what you use to detect the mold? Is it just your nose?
My nose,
Okay, but that's what I want to know. And when I hear grandma smell, because when I go into houses, I went to a house like that yesterday, and I said it smells like we knew an older person. It was like grandma's house. It made me really sick. I had a headache for the rest of the day.
Yep.
And so with that grandma smell house, was that an indicator to you that there's mold or something unhealthy?
Yeah, so that immediately, it's like musty or moldy smell.
Yes.
You know, like if you're out by your pool equipment, you know, you kind of get around some of that, and it's, you know, the black mold's kind of lingering there.
Basements,
Basements,
old basements.
attics, most of the houses, about 50% of them in the country have some form of water damage. So going back to your point about were all the people sick and how come some people get really sick and other people think you're crazy, I think for me, being so stressed out about going broke with 7 kids and changing jobs set me up to where my body was ready to be beat up. And then you can have the MTHFR gene that can help you not process, but your body is like, they call it the rain barrel effect, where you can only take so many toxins and then it starts to spill over and you have all these autoimmune type symptoms.
Yeah, I know it very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So can you come into my house and tell me if you think I have mold?
Yeah.
Sure.
We had someone come test it recently, though. Didn't we?
I thought we did.
Yeah, we had somebody come in because I was nervous because a lot of the things that you're saying I have had, and I have not been good. And friends, if you're listening to this, get good at this. And we have to just set alarms, is changing the filters in our air conditioning units.
Yeah.
So what happens in our house is we change it because I'm suffering.
Yeah.
And then a year goes by and I start to suffer again. And then we're like, what could this be?
Yeah.
Why am I suffering? Oh shit, it's the air conditioning filter again.
A couple other free things that I think everybody should do is turn your cell phone completely off at night. Do not let it sit next to your headboard, next to your nightstand. Put your Wi-Fi router on a timer. Ours goes off at 11 and comes back on at 7:30. That non-native EMF sits there and buzzes you all night long and can disrupt you. Yeah, she's you
My
get in
husband
trouble.
can't live without podcasts at night. How can
Well,
you
yeah,
shut
but
off?
I can find a workaround.
You can download them, right?
Yeah, probably.
Do you know how to do that? Set the timer?
No,
You
you would
just-
make a timer.
Yeah.
I would plug the router into a cheap timer you can get at Home Depot or
You
any
guys are
place
so
like
smart.
that.
I don't know how
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, and some of your routers you can actually get in and program them to where you can just get in, log into it, and then set times for
Just
it to go
do
on
that.
and off. You can do that.
Yeah,
But
we
I
have
think
to do
just
that. I
the
love
physical
that.
time would probably be easier for most
Yeah, like
people.
a Christmas tree light timer.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
amazing to not feel because we're being microwaved.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Billy?
I just said, yeah, no, there's we like to jimmy rig a bunch of things that are
Redneck rigging.
yeah,
Oh, I
redneck
love it.
rigging
Yep.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
but you know what? There's
Yeah.
always a workaround. I love the idea that before there were red lights, you painted them. I mean,
Mhm.
if it's that simple, because other people will tell me I need these expensive red light bulbs,
Mm-mm.
and I'm like, wait, couldn't red light just be red light in some cases?
Well, and
Yeah,
they
and-
do have bulbs that aren't red that are good too, right? Because
Well, we don't use red anymore.
Yeah.
That was kind of
the beginning.
Introductory.
the knee-jerk Nazi reaction to
Yeah.
blue light and going the exact opposite. So we use an amber color.
Okay.
It's a warm color. You can find no flicker LED bulbs because the flicker from the bulbs can also be very damaging.
Yeah.
So we've got those throughout the house, and it's just a nice warm kind of candlelight feel.
So, Dan, can I give you some homework?
Sure.
Can you send us a couple of links to the things you
Oh, of
think we
course.
should all
Yeah,
get?
yeah.
And we'll put it in the summary of this episode because I know Dr. Allison had given me a light bulb that she suggested, and I put it in the baby's room. And then it also made me so aware of baby stuff because everything's technology now. So
Yeah.
everything rocks, everything buzzes, everything has sound machines connected to it.
Yeah.
The cameras. So I used my cameras in the beginning. And then once I felt safe, I shut them down. I was like, we don't need them anymore. I don't want that electricity around her.
Yeah, there's another hack I'm about to try. I just bought these. They're like a big mosquito net for your bed, and you can get them for infants, and it's made out of a silver thread that blocks all EMFs.
No way.
Yeah, I'll send you that link too.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'll make
Um,
you my top 10 list of free stuff to do to get healthy.
I love that.
I'll put it
See, we
in.
were talking about health is a full-time job now.
It's horribly frustrating because the other thing that happened to me was because of this mold, I became allergic to a lot of other things like fragrance. Fragrance can be really toxic. Like I would walk through the grocery store aisle and get in the laundry soap and suddenly be like, well, I can't think. My brain hurts. I'm getting dizzy. I'm getting this tickle in my throat. I figured out it was fragrance. So
But now you're paying attention. The problem
Oh,
is
yeah.
we're walking around unconscious all the time. We're running at lightning speed to get through our days. We're not paying attention. I never paid attention to where the pains were coming from. I just knew they were there and I was like, okay, what can I do? Suck down another coffee. Okay, just suck it up and keep going.
Right.
But now you were aware, so you started to be able to pinpoint. That's where I'm at now too. I'm able to be more aware of what's happening. So
And-
you realized it was the fragrances.
fragrances, and then a really, really horrible one for me was I would walk outside, and if one of my neighbors was spraying pesticides, it felt like somebody hit me in the face with a baseball bat, and I would be down for a day or 2 days, literally in bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pesticides, herbicides, that's another issue with renting places like Airbnbs or hotels. If you get there at the beginning of the month and they just sprayed for bugs, that can be pretty toxic to people who are sensitive.
Again,
Yeah.
it hit you in an extreme way. I think it hits people in the subtle way, like it hit you 7 years ago, where you were just having headaches, and it really spoke to me, which wasn't a coincidence when you said, "Oh, I did what Kevin did, which is just drink caffeine, alcohol to go to bed, caffeine to get through the day,
Right.
and you just power through like a man." And
Yeah,
I think
suck
women,
it up, keep
and I know
going.
women do it too.
Yeah.
And I think that then it's everything else. All the parts start coming off the wagon, so to speak. The wheels come off, and as things went on, But I think everyone's in that phase.
Yep.
A lot of people are in that phase, not realizing it's the mold and the blue light and those other things.
Well, just the difference between men and women. Men kind of tend to ignore that stuff, and women are more intuitive, much smarter than we are
Yeah.
with what's going on. And we just rub some dirt on it, you'll be fine, keep going. And then we ignore it. And then the other thing I did was deny it. And what was really crazy, one of the things that really helped get me healthy, once we figured out it was mold and I was triggered with these massive inflammation reactions, then the emotional side would come in. And this fear, I mean, absolute terror would come over every time I would get around something that was making me react. And I ended up trying tapping and EMDR, and then ended up doing something called rapid eye technique,
Mm-hmm.
which in 2 sessions with this great friend of mine, Susan Carney in Dallas, 2 sessions, it knocked down the emotional reaction by 80%. Because you have a physical reaction, the emotional reaction, reaction makes the physical reaction. Suddenly
Yeah, because you get frustrated and
you're having a
upset.
panic attack,
Yeah.
and you're completely paralyzed. So going and doing some of the emotional side, and it brought up a whole ton of stuff from when I was a kid, working through all that, and being again a typical male. Yeah, okay, horrible childhood. So what? Keep going.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of these
Shove that
things
shit under the bed.
just sweep it under.
Well,
That's what I always say.
yeah, and then I mean, going back to that rainbow effect that you were talking about before, everybody, like you said, normal people don't really know. They don't notice those subtle things because we're constantly inflamed all the time, right? Everything we do, everything we eat, everywhere we go, all these pollutants and everything that we experience on a day-to-day basis, it just puts us in this. You kind of get used to your normal, right?
Yeah.
You only know what your normal is, and then once you feel worse or better, then you're like, wait, I was
Yeah.
living in this area for so long, and so when you started to feel better, whenever you get hit with something like you walk through the department store and you smell the perfume, or I remember you feel bad the rest of the day,
Yeah, it was
because
pretty rough.
you'd gotten to the point where you were like feeling good, feeling
Yeah.
okay.
I think I realized for a long time we'd go on vacation and I would feel great on vacation. I don't think we were cleaning our air filters for years, and I just suffered through. I think it was really just in the recent last, 6 years on this health journey that we've been cleaning them, Kev. I think that's why whenever we went away, I'm like, why do I feel good when I'm away?
Also
Yeah.
in an older house.
Yeah.
Well, and then when you're at the beach, you're barefoot and you're grounded and you're in the sun and you're eating lighter. When you're outside and you're getting all those electrons from
How
the
much
earth and from the
grounding?
sun. How much
How much grounding?
is good?
Yeah.
As much as you can get, but you can tell a
Yeah.
difference in 5 minutes.
But to heal, how long were you doing it? Because I'm out there in the morning, but I might be grounding 5-10 minutes. I mean,
That's
how
fine.
long can I sit there in
That's
the
great
grass?
for maintenance. What was what was really interesting for me is figuring out it was mold, and then trying to figure out what everybody was telling me. Doing all this research and then trying things. I ended up doing a big mistake, which was trying too many things at once, and some of them would help, and some
That's
of them
a guy thing, I feel like, too, right?
Yeah.
We just
We
attack.
all do it. We attack. Most type A people are gonna throw at the kitchen
Right.
sink at it, and then you
Right.
don't know what works and what doesn't, and then you get frustrated.
Well, and then something you could be doing could be making you worse. So I've kind of told people that, and we ended up buying my doctor's clinic. That was another big thing. We bought the clinic from Dr. Hamill, who's 88, the sweetest, most wonderful, smart man in the world. He's like the Norman Rockwell doctor with the thing on his head. And I was really worried that he was going to pass away or retire, and then all these treatments that we finally figured out that worked wouldn't be available to help my friends and family. So what he helped me do was to start reducing things. So taking things away, you can take a lot of things away and then reintroduce one thing at a time for 2 or 3 weeks and see how it affects you. And you'll know right away if something you're doing is making you worse within 24, 48 hours. But it takes a little bit more time if you're trying some supplement or an allergy shot or something. It takes you a while.
Yeah.
So one thing at a time.
So how long did it take you to heal from mold poisoning, you think?
Well, we ended up moving out of the temporary house into another rent house, and it ended up having mold as well.
Oh boy.
Yes, and we didn't know what we didn't know. The guys came in to fix it. It was a leak in the upstairs bathroom to the ceiling kitchen. They opened up the ceiling kitchen. All the dust, all the mold, all the mycotoxins spilled out. And after being clean and clear for 8 months, it was like getting hit with, a big bullet. And it knocked me really far back. And I ended up having to go in this clinic housing for 31 days to get better. Yeah. Like
See?
a very clean house.
The beach house we're renting had that leak in the top, and I was like, I wonder, and by the way, when you say 50% of households have
That's
mold.
statistic.
I
Yeah.
can
What
smell
do
it in
we
the
all do?
garage.
How do we even
Well,
find it? And then who has the money to do all the repairs that's required?
Well, it got expensive. We lost several tens of thousands of dollars because we moved out of one house and brought our furniture from the moldy house to the new house, which was another big mistake. So some of the fabric stuff carried the mold with it.
I'm a plastic and leather guy. I've had dogs forever, and this is our fight all the time. I'm like, please
Yeah.
get me my vinyl that I can just clean
Yep.
and don't hold any toxins in.
Yeah, and so the one you can clean it with diluted hydrogen peroxide or ammonia. Bleach is horrible for it. The best thing for if you want to keep something is to put it out in the sun because the sun, the UV light will just kill
Bakes it. Yeah.
Yeah, will kill it.
Wow.
So
And-
to answer your question, it took about 3 years to get back to
Wow.
like feeling really good.
Do you have any idea? So for East Coast basements, most of them, even the newer ones, have mold. Is there any way to stop them or control them?
See, I was born in Chicago and then raised in Milwaukee. And then when I was a junior in high school, my mom remarried and moved to Texas. And they don't have basements in Texas. So everybody loved the rec rooms, and the basements were just wonderful, great places. And you're right, lots of them are really moldy. I think there are people out there that can take care of that, and French drains and sump pumps and all that stuff. I've been in some recently that have felt good, so it's not.
I'm in the middle of a renovation in Connecticut, and we've got a basement there, and I know, and I'm trying to figure out how do I not only.
They tested down there, though. They didn't say that there was any mold, too. Remember?
There was a little, and it's gone now, but it's going to get reintroduced. That my fear, so I want to make sure,
There's a couple air filters that do a good job. The ones that have the UV light, I think the air moves too fast to do anything. The ones that you put inside your air handlers, but I think if you just kind of are aware of it, and if you suspect it, you can buy those little Petri dishes off of Amazon. You leave them out, send them off, and they'll get you back a result in about a week.
No way.
Mhm.
Oh, I want the link to that, too.
I'll put the links for you. Yeah.
What can mold? So mold obviously is creating all of those things you were talking about, the congestion, the cramping, the headaches, the brain fog, all of that. But you also said it can lead to the autoimmune diseases. There's more too, right?
So I'm not an expert, and I want to just say this is what I experienced and what I've researched. And when you get Dr. Cruz on, he can speak more to it because he is the expert. But I know it can cause massive inflammation. We know inflammation is horrible for all kinds of stuff.
Leads to all diseases.
And the mycotoxins that mold kick out can cross the blood-brain barrier. And I actually had an MRI done where you look at my brain, I had these two big dark lesions. And I learned later on that that's a mold camping out in fatty tissue. And that's why I gained so much weight, is your body is trying to protect itself. So it wraps that mold mycotoxins and stores it in fat. When I got out of the moldy house and started blocking the blue light, one of the other things, which is I'm a kind of a conservative guy, and ended up doing coffee enemas. That for me was kind of a exit only thing, and I made the joke with my wife, we call it the Australian coffee because it goes down under.
Okay.
So, but I started dumping all these toxins, and you could see when you go to the bathroom, it looked like death. When it was your body's really getting rid of it, your pee will look like rust, and you can smell the toxins. And then the other thing that was really great to do was sweating and saunas, because your skin, the largest organ in your body, you can push a lot of toxins out. So
Did you see like discolored stuff on the towels and stuff?
kind of a tint, like a yellow tint. So
And would you recommend sauna over steam? Because sometimes can steam also have mold? Or does it matter?
I don't think it matters. I know a lot of people promote the infrared saunas because that infrared light can go deeper into the skin. I did both. I felt like the steam would get hotter faster and I'd sweat faster.
Okay. Well, it's good to know because I like the steam.
I like the steam better. But if you're in an apartment or a house and you don't have access to it, and I joined a gym to do it. I have the picture. I won't show you now, but I left the gym because it had a steam sauna. But there was this giant guy came in, sat next to me, didn't put a towel down, It was
Nice.
naked right next to me. I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to buy a sauna. I was like, that's enough for me. But yeah, so sweating is really good. Getting out in the sun obviously cooks everything, and you can sweat out in the sun. But I know there's a bunch of research that says that it can lead to inflammation, which can lead to heart disease and problems. It can lead to infertility, cancers too. All kinds of stuff can happen from it.
I believe it. And
Yeah.
you were saying about your little charcoal. We were talking off here.
Oh
wanna hear
yeah,
about
so
this.
binders, activated charcoal, and I carry it with me because a lot of this stuff gets caught up in your stomach bile, and your stomach bile's on a kind of a loop. And so if you take activated charcoal, it gets in your stomach and binds to these toxins, and then you eliminate it.
So
So they
what is
don't
it? A
stay.
powder? Like,
Yeah,
because
it's
you
just
have
like
charcoal in the house. You've bought it before to use, and it's just sat
I
in the
used it for a
cabinet.
minute, and I didn't.
Yeah.
It's good to take. It's great if you've been out partying and you've been drinking too much. The next day, pop 2 or 3 of them, and it absorbs the alcohol.
So what? They're capsules?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay.
But
So
you
you
was-
take charcoal, activated
Charcoal. Yeah.
charcoal.
And you meant, because I was telling you how I went through the grandma house, the grandma smelling house, and got really, first of all, depressed as soon as I smelled, and then because the emotions, like you said, are attached to it all, and then headache, painful headache for the rest of the migraine for the rest of the day and the night. And then you mentioned charcoal. So would that have helped me?
Yeah, so like what I did yesterday was just pound a bunch of water and then take a couple activated charcoals and then went outside. Bailey and I went to the beach and sat in the sun and kind of got cooked for a little while, sweated a little bit, went in the ocean. So the other thing I heard you guys talk about the other day on one of your podcasts was immediately take a shower. You know, if you feel like you've been exposed, take your clothes off, throw them in the laundry,
Good to
get away from these things and clean your body off. You always feel better when you take a shower, and who knows what you're getting exposed to. So
Yeah.
I mean, I always say when people are depressed, I'm like, get in the shower, get those toxins off your body. You will immediately feel better.
Yeah.
You even see our dogs. I don't care what people say. They said there's no studies to say if dogs like baths. No. Well, every one of mine run around and celebrate after they're so excited. But it's the
Yeah.
same thing.
You know, it's funny. Just the other day, I was sending Natasha something I saw on Instagram about mold toxicity. And I was like, oh my God, we need an expert to come talk to us about mold. And then I started laughing when I realized you were kind of coming on and you've just dealt with it firsthand. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's going to be at least step one. All right, guys, we're going to stop right there because Dan has so much to share with us that we're going to split this into 2 episodes. So tune in tomorrow for more on blue light and mold and this amazing Hope Chain foundation that they've started to help end suicide. We'll be back tomorrow. In the meantime, be nice people, make good choices, and be present.
This podcast and all related content published or distributed by or on behalf of Maria Menounos or MariaMenounos.com is for informational purposes only and may include information that is general in nature and that is not specific to you. Any information or opinions expressed or contained herein are not intended to serve as or replace medical advice, nor to diagnose, prescribe, or treat any disease, condition, illness, or injury, and you should consult the healthcare professional of your choice regarding all matters concerning your health, including before beginning any exercise, weight loss, or healthcare program. If you have or suspect you may have a healthcare emergency, please contact a qualified healthcare professional for treatment. Any information or opinions provided by a guest expert or host featured within website or on company's podcast are their own, not those of Maria Menounos or the company. Accordingly, Maria Menounos and the company cannot be responsible for any results or consequences or actions you may take based on information or opinions.